Hey, welcome to That's the Minority. I'm Auntie Carell.
I'm Auntie Duan.
And I'm Auntie Jarrell. Hey, y'all.
Hey. And this is going to be a special week of Drag Race recapping because we have No Ma'am podcast with us this week. We got Willie Will, we got Joanny here. How y'all two doing tonight?
It's great. It's great. You know, it's so funny because you're like, this is our first podcast collaboration episode. So I'm excited. I know Joanny's excited, but we're really excited right now.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that. It's been a long time since we've had a first.
Same. Same. It's very much
It's like it feels good.
That's a little something that only people who are a little long in the tooth get to say. So welcome to Club, Jarrell.
Who said that?
Right.
You did.
That's right. I know that's right. Yeah, I love a little first one because I'm long in the tooth. Call me what you gotta call me.
That's it.
But we actually saw Willie Will. Like, we mentioned this on the podcast a few weeks ago. We saw him at the Glam Awards, and we're like, okay, we got to figure out which week is going to be the right week to do this collabo.
Right.
And we were like, Snatch Game. So episode 7, RuPaul's Drag Race season 17. It's an annual, rightage of passage for these drag queens to do Snatch Game. And we'll get to see how we're feeling, but go ahead, Devon. You set us up.
But before we do, let's just go ahead and dive right in. If you can just tell us a little bit about your podcast and where we can reach you and all that kind of fun stuff, and then we'll dive right into the content.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're No Man Podcast. We are a New York City-based queer Latino podcast that we pretty much review all things RuPaul's Drag Race and a little bit of queer nightlife. We have to throw that in there, to spice things up. I'm one of the hosts, Willie Will, and I'll let my co-host, Joanny, introduce himself as well.
Yeah, I'm Johnny. I am a Mexican immigrant who grew up in New York. Love all things queer. And I don't know, we just wanted to create this podcast to kind of create a space for queer people of color. We wanted to make a mark in the game and show people that, people like us can do this, and we do have important things to say.
That's a whole ass word, especially this time of period.
Yeah.
Going on this recklessness of an administration.
The shenanigans that's happening. Yes.
And honestly,
word.
and not gonna lie, having something like RuPaul's Drag Race as a celebration of queer culture and so many of its different kinds of facets through the lens of drag is just a great opportunity for us to really celebrate the really great things that we as a broader community can bring to life. So
even when some of them aren't that great,
well,
we'll uplook them still nonetheless.
well, I mean, drag or in life, it all goes around.
That's a word.
I was shady.
So this is we are. I don't want to say the middle of the season, but we're nearing the middle of the season. We still got about 11 hoes that are on this episode. So I don't know what the plan is for the rest of the season. If they're going to be doing twosies or what, but we got to get some of these chicks out of here. But this is this is season 17, episode 7, and it is the Snatch Game, the well-anticipated breaker of egos and shining of stars Snatch Game. So we don't have a mini challenge this week. We get right into the gig where Ru just says, listen, this is it. It's Snatch Game. And so let's just kick it off. We start off by hearing the girls at the beginning of the episode kind of like going around talking with each other and kind of like sussing each other out and whatnot. What are some of your, and we'll kick it over to Will and Joanny, what were some of your initial reactions based on some of the girls that disclosed what they were planning on doing before Ru does her walkthrough?
I mean, I think it's really smart that Anya chose Eddie Murphy, even though I thought she looked like Tracy Morgan. Like, no shade. I didn't get Eddie Murphy from how she looked. She sounded like Eddie Murphy.
We will get into that. But before we know all the things and they land on the decision, they're just talking about like, hey girl, who are you doing? I'm doing this. What were some of your initial reactions based on what they said at the beginning of the episode, not knowing what they would land on?
So yes, Anya as Eddie Murphy, that was a smart choice. What else? Jules Sparkles as Miss Bigfoot. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, just made-up characters, because to me that takes me out of Snatch Game. I like them to actually impersonate celebrities, but if it's done well, then I can get into it. And then, obviously, like, Susie wanted to do Ellen Green, and I thought that was a choice.
Johnny, what are some of your reactions initially?
I was really nervous once I heard Ariete say she was doing Cupid, similar to kind of what Will said, because I feel like sometimes when they impersonate or they try to do these characters that we don't really know what they're like, and they're essentially making them up on the fly, it can go either really well or really bad. Same thing when Lana said she was doing Rosa Parks. I was like, girl, during Black History Month, you want to do Rosa Parks? No, ma'am. Like, I was so confused. So I was really worried for those two. I got really excited when Lexi said she was going to do Dario. I forgot his name. I think that was his name.
Gilbert
Because I think
Gottfried.
Gilbert. Because I think he's such a funny comedian. So I got really excited. But I can talk about what ended up happening afterwards.
He said I got excited prematurely.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And
Yeah,
what about you two?
It was just interesting just to hear. Like, I always get excited just to hear what people think of creatively, just to see where their humor and their brain kind of goes. So I usually this episode, I usually like the beginning portion, because it's just like, okay, that's where their brain goes. Awesome. How you execute it, there's a whole nother thing, but at least, okay, that's it, where your humor kind of go. And for me, I loved when Ru came in and just shaded Corey. So that was the part. So I know we'll get there. So that was the part. That was the best part of the whole. Probably did the whole damn show, honestly.
I always think
what's
it's
really-
interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Boo. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know what's really funny? I think it was just like either the previous episode or the previous that I was talking to Will about it. Those shoes, I specifically mentioned those shoes and how much I hate her shoes. And then Rue comes and points them out. I was living for it. I was so happy that somebody finally called them out,
Baby.
because I hate her shoes.
So
Ru
let's
was in there digging.
shift quickly into kind of the walkthrough, because before the walkthrough, the girls are just getting themselves acquainted, and they're sharing like who each of them are doing, and we get to see a couple of those. And then we see that Ru is doing her walkthrough with Miss Alyssa Edwards, Drag Race royalty. She's been on Snatch Game a couple of times. She's had some big hits, a couple of misses, so she knows what it takes to bring this to life. What do you think about bringing Alyssa in as not only a side coach for the walkthroughs, but also as a contestant on this season's episode?
I thought it was a choice.
It was
Like,
a choice for Snatch.
It was a big choice.
Elaborate on that, please.
Like,
Just
one,
because her history.
Right,
She
that's
is not a
true.
Snatch queen.
That is also true. She's not she's not a comedian. I mean, she's had if you think
Not
of it, she's
intentional.
run the whole entire gamut of Snatch Game. Like, she's had a good one. She's had a not so good one where she had to be the first one to apologize to a celebrity that she bombed. And then she had one that was kind
Was
of
that Katy Perry?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, like, we kind of erased that from Alyssa's history, but it happened.
Pin that in.
No, we don't.
Let's keep
See, that's why I think she was a great choice then, because she's been on both sides. She's been okay and
Highs
she's
and
been
lows.
bad, So I think honestly, bringing her in for a season of new queens, I think it's almost kind of comforting, being like, look, here is this global superstar drag queen who
That's a
has
true statement.
bombed and doing well at this as well too, and this can still be something that launches your career, right? So I think it was honestly great for new queens to have someone in the middle. Because could you imagine it being someone that's been consistently good at Snatch Game, giving you critique at the beginning? Like, talk about even more nerves. Like, the mental gymnastics that would have had on a girl being like, the hardest part of Drag Race is Snatch Game. And then you got this queen who's good at it telling me that I need to change all my shit.
We got Jinx Monsoon coming in here, who
Right.
slays it every single time, trying to tell you who this is not your gig. So I agree
Right.
with you 100%, Jarrell.
That's interesting.
I absolutely love the fact that, number one, Alyssa Edwards is a crowd favorite. So whatever she does, whether she's coaching the girls, prepping them for a musical, or she's coming in to judge them on the panel, or she's just TV gold. So that's a very smart choice. And I think the other part of it is because she's had characters that have truly bombed, she understands what the girls are going through. You know, that Katy Perry choice was a choice that I think a lot of girls make. It's like, oh, I love this person, so I'm going to do them because I love them, not
And
because it's funny.
And
somebody did it, but the point of it is, but the point of it is, with this as a choice, having someone who's been at the top and at the bottom, they really understand what Snatch Game is all about and what you need to deliver, even if comedy or acting or improv is not your gig.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so now they're doing the walkthroughs, and let's just get a little bit into some of the commentary that was going out. And Joanna, you had mentioned the shoes with Miss Corey King, so let's talk about that. What do you think about how shady Ru has been this season to the girls?
I love it. It reminds me of like Logo RuPaul, which is my favorite RuPaul. I feel like once she switched over to VH1 and MTV, she really started to center herself and really become kind of nicer. Which, I mean, it's okay, I get it, but I really miss the unhinged RuPaul from the Logo days. Like, that's my favorite Ru.
I wish I knew that.
So
Right?
I was living for her coming for Corey because that's all I've been saying all season.
Well, and we got to see a little bit of that last week's episode where Lana Del Rey, I keep wanting to say Jonna, but Lana Del Rey was asking for some critiques, and she gave him right then and there. She said, "Oh, you want to talk about mothers,
Baby. Everything, your mama and your daddy. Yeah, I agree. Like, I missed the old Ru, and I thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh, this is the Ru of old. Okay, Ru back. And she went, it was just so funny that she walked over there, dug through the station, found the shoes, and said, these. I couldn't even imagine if that was me. I'm like, damn, mother is reading me for filth right now in front of everybody. What the fuck?
What gagged me was when Alyssa asked, "Are you going to dance in those?" and Corey says, "Yeah, of course." And then Ru says, "No, you don't dance in these." She walks.
She said, "No, she walks the runway."
Because Corey she cannot perform.
True.
You can't blame it on them shoes. Okay, so she reads Corey a little bit, and then she has a moment with Anya. So, Will, you were talking about this at the earlier part of the episode in terms of Anya choosing Eddie Murphy, and so, but at this point, Ru kind of brings up Barry White's wife, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting what her name was, but Mrs. White,
like Bernadette or something like that.
Right.
No, it's Glodine.
Thank you. So she kind of goes, because when Ru mentions you should do somebody, you should typically do that person. But she already knew that this queen didn't really know who Glodine was. So to bring that up on the day of, to try to pull that off, not knowing who this person actually is, kind of takes me back to when she was asking Crystal Method to be Elle DeBarge, and Crystal Method didn't know who Elle DeBarge was. So it's like, how do you actively portray? It's like you want to impress Ru and you want to please her, but at the same time, if you don't know jack squat about the person, then how are you really going to play them? And this is a real person. This isn't like.
Yeah. I also think it's really smart for Anya to stick with her gut, because if she would have did something that she wasn't really comfortable with, like a Glodine White, then it probably would have bombed, right? Like we probably would have had a different, obviously we'll get into that, we'll probably have a different experience on Snatch Game. So I thought that was really smart that Anya was like, normally when Ru says to do something, you change, but this time I'm not. So.
And you know how we talk about all the time, like, you know you're going on Drag Race, do your homework. And it was clear that Anya did her homework when it came to Eddie. And I really appreciate that she was like, no. Like, I didn't just half-ass come into this season. Like, I thought about this. Right. I worked on the mannerisms and everything like that. And also, too, we know that when someone does an impersonation of someone that Ru loves or knows, and they don't deliver the way that Ru wants it to be delivered, it don't matter what you thought was funny or how your interpretation, if it doesn't make Ru laugh, it's a chop.
It's a wrap.
Automatically. So
wrap.
To me, I'm with you, Will. I'm glad that she stuck with Eddie, because I don't think that would have been a lose-lose for Anya. It really would have.
And we got comedy gold in the room when she was still practicing because she said, "I heard Lynch, I got scared." I was like, "Bitch, that is comedy, fucking gold, brilliant."
And we can only imagine. I mean, obviously by now we've all seen the full episode, so we know exactly how things play out. But we could only imagine had she kind of caved into the pressure, and switched up to something that she wasn't quite as familiar with. And I think it says, especially with Snatch Game, it's one thing to do a character that nobody's heard them speak. Nobody knows that their mannerisms are. They just know, like the Mona Lisa, as an example, right? Something that's like out there in the ether, the Easter Bunny, right? It's out there in the ether, but they don't really have a personality or something that people know, love, appreciate, adore, and all those kinds of things. So you can really have fun with it. But when you're doing a character that people know, you gotta make it. Number one, you have to own it. And number two, you gotta make it funny. And I feel like had she gone a different route, the Snatch Game, as we found out, was a little bit rough. I could only imagine how much more rough it would have been for her to have chosen a character that she wasn't familiar with.
For her, for us.
That's true. Yeah.
So season 14 all over again.
Oh.
So, Carell, why don't you bring up the... so let's switch over to the Snatch Game. Why don't you bring up the picture so we have all the girls in front of us so we can get a little reminder of who everyone was. There we go. All right. And so we also see the other contestant is Gay Eye, which is a butt plug shaped apparatus that basically had AI. What are your thoughts on this as a choice as opposed to having an actual live human being bantering with the gals?
I thought it was good. It's season 17, so why not do something different? I also thought Gay Eye stole the show. So
Low key. Yeah.
So
again, it's kind of almost like the logo days again. Like the glory hole last week, the Gay Eye this week. It feels they're bringing back in those queer culture gay humor moments that they kind of got away from for a few of the seasons. So I enjoyed it for that sake.
Yeah, I think the more that the production team and the creatives that are really developing and building off of 17 years of doing a lot of the same things and injecting a little bit of newness into it by, Gay Eye and other things just adds another element of something that of surprise and delight that I think we can all enjoy. So we're not going to go through all of the characters here, but we'd love to just use this next segment and just talk about what were some of the standout moments for you. Let's start off with the good standout, and then we'll shift over to the not so good standouts. Who would like to kick us off?
I'll start because I have things to say.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you said good standouts, right? You said good standouts, right?
Let's start with the good, and then we can end on the not so good.
I mean, my favorites were Anya and Jules. Anya, despite what people are saying online, was definitely Eddie Murphy. It was not just Anya with the mustache put on. I think she studied the character very well, and she executed it very well. She had some amazing moments. She dominated the whole thing. And Jules really surprised me. I did not expect it to be that funny. That moment when she was pointed at at her foot, she's like, "That's blood, bitch." I died. It was just so random. I thought it was really cute. I did not expect that from Jules. And I loved her. And obviously Sam also did really good. Everyone else was kind of forgettable, but we'll get to that.
Will, what about you? Some of the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Sam. I know I've been seeing a lot of discourse online that they wasn't feeling Sam because she didn't give that much of a personality, but I thought she was an unhinged Kim Carell. I thought she did really well with that character. She also, to me, kind of made Kim Carell a lesbian. I'm not sure if I was the only one that got that, but she was very butch lesbian, which I liked, which obviously she kind of played on the butch lesbian character with RDR Live, too. So I feel like Sam is getting a little gritty, even though the judges may not agree. But Sam was a good standout to me. I'm not a fan of Corey King, so I'm going to throw that out there. I don't care. I get a lot lot of heat from the Corey King stands.
I got your back. I've been calling her King Kong for the past couple of weeks, girl. So
right, that the kingdom sometimes tries to come for me, but I thought in this Snatch Game, Big Ange had a funny moment when she said, I'm black too. I thought that was a really funny moment for Corey King, and then everything after that was meh. So.
Yeah, Corey got lucky that everyone else damn near sucked at life because it made him look actually kind of funny. But it was, like you said, just that one moment.
Right.
But everything else,
Very
he
much
felt
that.
like, oh,
Yeah.
God, okay, Corey, go home, girl.
And Jarrell, what about you? Any highlights you'd like to share?
No, honestly, I mean, there really only were two people who were good, and that was Jewel and Anya. Everyone else was just kind of. I kind of agree with Will. I kind of liked Sam as well. If I had to do a top three, I would put Sam in there. My only issue with Sam is that it felt too rehearsed. Like, it felt like she went into it knowing her lines, kind of like what, Lana Del was talking about earlier. Like, I was going to ask Ru, is the bus still running? And then got thrown off. Like, so it felt very still pageant rehearsed from Sam Starr, not true, just let loose, carefree, if that makes sense. But
it wasn't improv. Yeah. It wasn't improv.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I knew my lines, and if I stray from that, I don't know what else to do, and it's palpable. But again, the rest of the cast was so terrible that you're like, well, I guess I gotta throw her up in the top three as well, because it was almost on the same track as, like you said, season 14. Like, that's probably still the worst one of all time. But for a moment there, I was sitting there like, damn, this is rough. And anytime you only hear Ru laugh like once or twice, and she's looking like she's struggling, and Ru's like the consummate professional. She done seen everything. And there was times where Ru didn't even know how to banter back, and you're like, oh, damn, it's going to be one of them weeks. So I agree, though, with the judges later on, how they were saying Lexi bombed so bad that it turned back around to funny.
Yes, I agree.
Because that shit was funny. So that's what saved her. This
She
week,
picked the right character.
So
she picked the right character to have like that kind of meltdown, because he was always kind of very meltdown, loud, like that all the time. You didn't know if he was serious, if he was a bit. It was so. I think there was a great character choice for her to flop.
All right, now like that. Some of us already have our reading glasses on. Let's switch to the challenges of this of the Snatch Game. What were some of the things that really kind of rubbed you the wrong way, or just didn't land the way that we did? I know we talked about some of those, but let's talk about just some of our highlights here.
Right off the cast.
Ciao. I'm mad at Lana.
Ooh.
Let's continue with that thought, Will.
Listen, no, Lana did not do Rosa Parks during Black History Month. And the only joke she knew was, is the bus still running? Like,
well, and that wasn't even a joke. That was a question.
And then there was a lot of things she could have done, right? I think in hindsight, if she would, we don't know how Rosa Parks speaks. We don't know how she would be now, right? So I think it would have been really funny if she'd have been like, is the bus still running? And she goes, no, the bus stopped running in 2005, because that's when Rosa died, right? Little something like that. That could have been fun. Or she'd have been like, I don't know, ask that heifer Claudette, right? She could have did something to play on something, but she just kept riding the bus. And the bus stopped running.
No, she was riding the car. Because remember, she got in the car.
Right, she got it right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably why she bombed.
She said, I don't know, ho, I got a car now. That was just to kind of piggyback on that real quick. Because, Rosa from Detroit, so even just Detroit energy could have came out, and that's what bothered me too. I was like, damn, you could have done a billion things. And I think it's just she thought she rehearsed her lines like Sam, and once she strayed off of that, she's like, oh fuck, I don't know what else to do now.
Well, let's clarify that statement. She rehearsed her line.
Line singular.
Because after Rudin asked her what line that she was going to ask, she had nothing left. Nothing.
I think that was the main issue with a lot of these queens, like her, Ariete, Susie. They really based their whole character's persona off of one joke. Like her with the bus, Ariete with the "I'm just a baby," and Susie with the scissors joke. So once they used that, they didn't really know where to go, and I think that really ended up hurting them. And that's why their Snatch Games were so bad.
Yeah, I think that the other component is that there is a kind of a misconception that Snatch Game is about acting and character impersonation, and it's not. And I think that's where Susie fell to prey, even though she felt she ate the whole thing and thought she just embodied this character that is very obscure and was not funny. There was a very strong, and Lydia as well. Lydia, for the most part, did a characterization, impersonation of David Lynch instead of a characterization, making it funny. And so I think that's a very big mistake. It's like you have these extremes. You have Lana and you have Crystal on one end, which is they have these characters that they know of and that they think that they can do, and they have some quips about them, but they don't know how to make it funny. And then you have these other characters, these other people who choose characters that they embody them from an acting perspective, but it's not funny. So if you don't have the jokes and you can't land and you can't volley in the conversation,
and the joke's on you.
It
I'd be so mad if I was Nicole Richie. I'd be like, Crystal Emmy, that's how you did me? Oh, I'm funny as shit.
And she looked a mess, if I'm being honest. Like, Nicole Ware, I don't see it. It's giving the Bride of Chucky more than Nicole Richie, but you're gonna stay off her eyebrows.
Don't do Tiffany like that.
You're right. That was disrespectful to Tiffany. You're right.
Yeah,
it was. It really was. But I just want to say one thing.
You're gonna leave her brow alone.
Look, I will say one thing about Susie Toots' performance. I see what she was trying to go, but the tone of her character voice was way off. Like, there's a difference between, because her character is more whiny, not baby, and she was falling into that area baby voice, and that completely lost it. I was like, damn, had you understand more, give more whiny and more kind of like blonde dumb, that would have landed a little bit better. But she was forcing them scissors, girl. Like,
Oh, baby.
Yeah, she was anchored in that. And there were two girls that basically got no airtime, and that was Arietti and Acacia Forgot. And it just reminds me that we only see a portion of what Snatch Game really is. So the version that we saw was, I'm assuming, the best that they could deliver to us.
That's all we got.
That's not saying a lot. So I don't think we're missing anything on the cutting room floor. So now let's switch over to the girls are prepping for the runway. And this week's episode, the runway challenge, is all about nails. Okay, so let's go ahead and start pulling up our first girl. And the category is nailed it. So they had to embody the concept of nails in their looks. So the first we have...
Acacia Forgot.
Acacia Forgot.
Because clearly you did. You did. And did. Because the only thing to remember is the nails, and I forgot even about the nails, but once I see the nails, I'm like, okay, I like the nails. But again, very onto the name. Actually, you know what? I think, DeJuan, you kind of said this. I feel like the joke is on us. Like, she know that she's so bad, that she's so forgetful, that's where her name came from. I think it's part of the actual brand, is to literally forget.
You know, no
Did you give her a second try?
This is one of the best looks she's had.
I think this is the best she's looked the whole
I was
season.
going to say, I think this is the best she looked all season 2.
Yeah. And the most creative look she's had.
Yeah, very much that.
One of the things that is interesting about the way that she paints, she loves a hard rouge on the cheeks.
She does.
Just kisses
Said,
on
"More,
both.
please."
She's like, just slap me in the face with some rouge, because she is gonna rouge them cheekbones up, and it ain't in the middle. It's always on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I literally, she came around the corner. I was like, oh, she look all right. But that's kind of saying what the rest of the season looked like, too.
Yes. All right. Next coming to the stage is Miss Susie Toot.
The back was better than the front.
Yeah, I agree. And similar to Acacia, I think it's the best look she's had all season.
Right. Yes. The concept was great.
I liked it.
Concept was amazing.
I agree. Well, I just wrote down Susie is so delulu that it just messed up me looking at her at the runway. I was like, girl, you so delusional. Delululemon. But yeah, I thought this is the best she actually kind of looked this season as well, though, because The makeup was slightly different. The aesthetic was slightly different than what she's kind of giving us. So I was like, okay, she's got a little something different that she could give us. But just the rest of the Delulu of the episode, I was like, okay, she ain't going to be in the top no way. So I'm looking over her.
Yeah. Next, coming to the stage is Miss Jules Sparkles.
Whoops, did I get the...
No.
Girl, that's not
Oh,
Jules.
I'm sorry. That's Lexi.
It's
Lexi Love. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, like I was a fan. I know the exact outfit that she was trying to go for when it comes to Cher. I love that the hair length is a right length for a Cher hair as well too. Could have been a little bit longer, but we've seen it above the booty, and it's always a no-no when it's above the booty. Okay, at least it's for the little cakes that she do got, at least it's somewhere towards the bottom. And I do like the detail to the nail, but you can't see the nails. Like if it wasn't for the zoom in, you can't see it. And I think that's the part where I give it a little bit of a but yeah.
I think it was a cute look, but the nails definitely looked better than the outfit, I think.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't really see them.
I think it's a theme for the entire runway that they were judging them over the overall look and not specific. Even though this was like nail inspired, I wonder what if the brief said you had to specifically have fingernails, or if it was just nailed it and they interpreted that as I'm going to do something with fingernails, because they really didn't spend a lot of time on what they did with the nails, and the judges didn't really judge them on what they did with the nails. They asked them some questions for those that were curious, but for the most part, it was about the full look. And I think one thing I'll share about Lexi's runway is that it's interesting because Lexi is also a person that shows a lot of skin. And you have another person like Lana who loves showing a lot of skin, but somehow the way that Lexi is styled, it doesn't feel like she's relying on the body. Mm-hmm. Like she has a fully realized look every single time that she comes to the runway, and it's not her wearing a look. That is her look. And we get that with this runway presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch over to Miss Sam Star.
I liked it. I'm a Sam Star stan, so I may just be on the island by myself.
Yes,
and
you are,
that's
Wilson.
That island with Susie.
Wilson. Okay, that's what it is. It's giving Wilson.
Like, I loved it. I don't know. I thought she looked really good. I'm like, obviously it's really cliche and very on brand for like nailed it, like, surgery, all that stuff. But I thought it was good.
I actually like this one too. Like, I wouldn't have thought she would have come out looking like this, quite frankly. I would have maybe honestly put this on Lexi, quite frankly. So I thought the aesthetic wise, I was like, oh, okay, Sam, okay, you showed me a little something. And I like the hair. I like and the face is snatched. So yeah, I didn't mind this one at all from Sam. I don't know if I'm a Sam Stern, but this week I was like, okay, go ahead, girl. You did it.
It just looks cheap to me. The material don't look right. There's something about the material that's just not reading right to me. Like it. Yeah, I don't like the material of it. I like the concept. I see where the concept was going, but the material just looks cheap to me, honestly, if I'm being honest. But
I see that. I liked it. I just feel like it's not. I feel like we've seen this before. It's not that original. Like we've seen every few seasons somebody do like some type of like botched look. So I mean, it was nice. It was one of the better ones we've seen, but I don't think it was that creative.
I 100% agree with you. I also feel like the hair, for some reason, even though it's cool hair, I didn't really like this hair with this particular look. And I honestly thought that this would be a great opportunity for her to do kind of like an ugly beauty makeup where maybe she had some prosthesis, maybe like there was like some over taping where things were. Because if you look at the outfit is all about the nips and tucks you're going to do around the body, right? So it would have been great. This would have been a great opportunity instead of doing just a pure pageant beauty look to do something a little bit outside of the box, which would have made the syringe fingers feel a little bit more authentic. All right. Next is Lana Jarre.
I hated this damn dress. The coloring. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago where someone was wearing brown and we're like, oh, it just does not pop on them? And I said, you got to have melanated skin to wear brown.
Anya.
I don't think
No, it was a
some
white person.
No,
It was Susie too. It was Susie
It was
too.
Crystal. No, it was Crystal Envy with the armadillo shoes.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
right.
right.
The pufferfish.
So same color scheme on Lana. Love this coloring on her. Hated the dress. It did not look like fingers or nails to me. I didn't know what the hell that shit was.
I just think it didn't fit her. And so I see the vision, right? I just think it didn't fit her. So the dress was wearing Lana. Lana wasn't wearing the dress. And so when she came down the runway, like Jeffrey Kelly, who was an amazing designer, made this look, right? Like amazing. And Jeffrey eats all the time. And so his design was really great. It's just that Lana wasn't wearing the dress. The dress was wearing her. So the nails, all that stuff, just it didn't fit. And so, and she wasn't confident too, because she knew that she bombed that Snatch Game. So she's like, I got to at least do something. And it wasn't working.
I'm gonna disagree about the dress wearing her in the sense that I think that there was some problems with the design of the actual dress. Number one, on the back, although it's not shown here, it's supposed to be a middle finger. But how, if there are no gaps between the two fingers or the three fingers that are on the front, that don't make any sense. So that was problematic. Number two, there should have been synchronicity between the fingernail art that was done on her actual fingers and the actual dress. That was a missed opportunity. And it just, to me, even just concept-wise, like, why is there a hand wrapped around her dress wearing French tips? I didn't just conceptually, I didn't even understand it. So I feel like Lana is one of those queens that always tries to look pretty and doesn't really think all the elements through, which is not something that a drag mother does with every single one of her. That's very intentional with how she presents herself, why why those are presented. I didn't even care for the pearl necklace, like the pearl necklace. Why are you doing pearls up here, but you're doing diamonds on your bracelet? I mean, around your wrist. To me, it didn't work.
It's a Prince song, diamonds and pearls. Come on now.
She didn't walk out to that though.
Yeah. Okay, next to the stage is our favorite queen, Miss Corey King.
Send all of this home. Like, it made me so mad when she came around that corner.
Girl, the nails are so crooked. The nails. I can't with those nails. I bet when she was creating this look or when she was thinking it up, she thought she was a genius. She thought she was so smart and she was going against the grain. I get what she was going for. The execution was horrible. Those nails, I really hate those nails. They look so cheap. They're like almost falling off. I don't like the makeup. That horrible hair. Just send her ass home, honestly.
Damn.
Why did she choose to do the Susie Toot lip? I mean,
I don't know.
It didn't work on
The
her.
next person.
It didn't work on her. I agree with you, Johnny, 100%. I think in her mind, she thought, oh, I'm going to do like a French style and then do French tips. And everybody's going to do outlandish kind of nails and it will help me to stand out. But again, her execution just fails dramatically.
We're just going to keep it moving.
All right, let's keep it on moving. Now we come into the stage. We have Crystal Envy. Cause that's a thriller.
Cause baby.
I appreciated that she tried to do something different. I just don't think the execution was there.
I'm still
I knew
trying to
something was
figure
gonna be
out.
off when she glued down her brows, but then put the brow bone on. That's when I knew something was about to go right. I was like, that didn't make sense to me from the jump.
I'm still trying to figure out why the judges ate this look up. Because they complimented her on this look, at least what they showed in as they were getting their critiques. So they complimented her on this look, but this was she swung for the stars but hit the trash can.
I'm so done with you.
I need that tattooed. I need that phrase tattooed.
All right, the other queen that we really love, Miss Jewel Sparkles.
Let me tell you, the fact that it took the whole runway to explain the concept of what she was doing. I was like, nope.
Same.
It looked good, but just not for this challenge.
I didn't like the silver stuff. I was confused. What was happening with all the silver stuff? Like, I guess that was the explanation, but I didn't get it. I thought it was team too much.
I feel like it's giving Timu Chromatica. Like she tried to go for that, and I just don't get it. It looks really cheap. I get what she was going for, but I don't like it.
My
She hit
biggest
that Party
challenge with
City going
this,
out of business sale, and that's what she got.
my biggest problem with this look, especially now, is that last week in the ball challenge, she did the look that she made has the exact same silhouette. Because one of the things that I noticed on the outfit that she wore last week was a super super high cut leg opening, and it's almost identical with what she has here in terms of the. So to me, it was just like we didn't already saw this on you, so there's not enough gagaliciousness to go along with this particular look for us to appreciate it because we already saw you in it.
Damn, I can't
That
unsee
coupled
it.
with
I can't unsee it. You're absolutely right with like the two pieces right here. Yeah.
so
She
it
thought
was
she was
just
going
like
to the Renaissance Ball, but baby, you in the parking lot still.
she took a page out of Hormona Lisa's dressing book and it did not work for her.
Baby.
All right, and next we have
These queens gonna be mad at us.
Listen, they're the ones that chose them outfits, not us. So be mad. Lydia Butthole Collins.
I think it's way too much going on. Like, why so many hands? I kind of like what she was trying to do with the long nails, like like super long nails. But then if you look at it, like they're getting all tangled up on each other. They're like bent. I think it was a semi good concept with a horrible execution, and I just really don't understand the headpiece.
Was you talking about like the babies, and she was like the babies and like clawing out her head? I was like, well, who babies are these? Where the babies come from? Like I wasn't even concerned about the look anymore. I was trying to understand the concept, and by the time she was gone, I was like, thank God she gone.
She got them baby hands like the Kristen Wiig character on SNL.
Listen, I'm not Lydia's target audience, and I'm okay because I don't get
honestly-
her drag, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I can appreciate the creativity that she puts in her drag every single week. It's something
Yes.
interesting and different and unusual and all those things. I do, however, think that this is the wrong venue for her. I think that she would have been, I think in a venue like Dragula, where it's all about monster art and monster drag and those kinds of things, I think that we would be able to really appreciate her level of creativity amongst the challenges that really play into it. I do feel like in this, what could be considered kind of a mainstream approach to drag in terms of what's being presented and how they judge and what the judges really gravitate towards, it ain't this. And it's not to say
think
that
she's
this
gonna
is
be one-
bad, but it's just to say that it might not be her style overall, not just this look,
Yeah.
might not be the right fit for this drag institution.
I think she might be one though that like she's gonna realize when she watches this back, be like, oh, okay, that's not right for this, but I have other ideas that actually are gonna work for All Stars. And I think she's gonna be one to watch for All Stars because I think she'll be able to put it all together. We can't say that for every queen. Every queen ain't gonna learn.
Serena.
Coming to the stage next is Miss Arietti.
I was torn on this one actually. Like I liked it, but then I didn't like it. But I liked it, but I didn't like it. Here's the thing with Ari, like looks are never her issue. Her makeup is always going to be spectacular, so that's always going to be a plus when she comes on the runway. You know you're going to get a look. It was almost lacking some kind of dimension for me. Like I know they ate it up, but for me, like I was like, there's something slightly missing. And I don't know what it is. I don't know.
It's the bottom half of the outfit. The top
Okay.
part of it with the arms, the double arms that she had, and the makeup and the nails and whatnot looks great. But what you see silhouette-wise is a bodysuit.
Yeah.
That's what you see. Good old crushed velvet leotard. And so it doesn't serve in the way that I think that we are used to seeing her serve, because even though she got some good stuff on the feet and whatnot, for some reason the bottom half of it just does not give. It doesn't complement the rest of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it because it's Cat's theme. So, like, the whole galactic space cat. She from Seattle. I know how the girls out here think. So I know where she was coming from. They eat that out. They eat that up out here. I'll say that at least. But it's not giving a whole lot of dimension, personally. But I will say, at least she did an actual full bodysuit, even to the feet, right? Like, she made sure from head to toe was covered. So if it's a bodysuit, it was done bodysuit correctly, but it's still too plain. I wish there would have been more colors, not just all kind of the gray and silver made played in some other colors or something like that. Maybe a dead galactic cat with red or some shit like that. I don't know, but just something else.
It need a CPR. All right, so that's the runway. So now, and we have our last. I was going to drop out my Cleveland girl here, Miss Anya Nerve.
Loved the way that it's
I think this is the best look of the night. I loved it.
1000%, and it's such a nod to like hair shows. Like growing up in the 90s and going to like the Chicago hair show, or when I went to the Atlanta hair show, like this is the type of shit that I saw growing up in Black culture. I'm talking about helicopters, all sorts of buildings and monuments and whatnot like that. And it gave exactly what needs to be done when I think of nails. And also that I love that, especially in Black culture, nails and hair is like a combination. And I love that she made sure, and it wasn't just nails, because she knew the hair got to be done too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have done without the cape, honestly. That was the only thing that was maybe kind of bothering me. But yeah, like, I mean, shit, we saw this on a Saturday at the mall.
Baby, okay? I know her. Okay, I seen her.
Right. Yes. Very Bonner Brothers hair show. Yes.
Baby.
I know
and it's a point of view. Like, she has a reason that she put this on. And I think that's what sometimes when the queens come around the corner, it just doesn't have a distinct point of view. They're just doing it to do it. And that's why it becomes so disconnected sometimes. You're like, it's fine. Like, you know, there's like no emotion one way or the other. This, we're like, oh, we know this girl. We know why she's connected. That's why we like Lexi Love as well. We know that girl. We've seen her. We connect to that. And you're giving us a different point of view of that same girl. So that's why she did great. It's like Anya has a point of view.
I do love that we're getting to see, even though she has all of her looks kind of like packed just like everybody else, we are seeing an evolution of who Anya is, but also an authenticity in how she presents. And one thing that she's going to do, regardless of whether she made a great outfit or a terrible outfit, is she's going to sell the fuck out of that look and that garment on the runway. And
that's a word.
That is a skill that these girls still are struggling to learn, and it shows. So let's switch to the tops and the bottoms of the week. So interestingly enough, and I don't know if this is a first on Drag Race history, I can't imagine that it is, but we have 4 people that are identified as the tops for this week. We have Miss Lexi Love, we have Sam Starr, Jules, Sparkles, and Anya. And then we have the bottoms of the week, Lana, of course, Jure, Crystal Envy, and Ariete. So, what are your reactions? Do we have it right or do we have it wrong with the tops?
If there was a top 4, there should have been a bottom 4, and they should have added Susie. That's all I'm going to say.
They should have added Corey. Should have been the bottom 5 or 6 of them. Send them hoes home.
Not the semifinals being next week.
Baby. Right.
I mean,
here's the thing.
in my
Here's what
opinion-
we get at by Snatch Game. We see who's going to win. Like, or actually, we see who's not going to win. Like, it gets to this point in the season where it is what it is. And people were so shocked by who got sent home. Baby, she wasn't going to win. Like, y'all know that. So why are you so shook? The producers know it. Ru knows it. We know it. So it gets to that point in the season. We all see, okay, you ain't going to win it. So it don't matter the order that they go home at this point.
Not even that. She just wasn't giving the producers what they wanted. She's not creating drama. She's not creating great confessionals. So I think compared to other queens, it was for TV, it was her time to go. Because like you said, she's not going to win. So why keep her around if she's not giving us good TV?
Bad.
What's also interesting though is the same could be said for Acacia Forgot. When was the last time
Send her home too?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
like the same could be said if we're talking about who's not in the drama, if we're talking about who's not giving good confessionals, if we're not talking about who's not playing the game, you know, who's been just dry as whatever.
She might
I
be
feel
on
like they're-
next week.
She should have been down there too.
I feel like they're saving to eliminate her once one of their favorites is in the bottom, so that they don't have to eliminate that queen.
That's the producer in you talking. I see where you're at. Yep, I can see that. Okay, so this week we know that Anya is the winner. This is her second win of the season. Does this feel correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we
Very
see
much.
that both Lana and Crystal are lip syncing to "Hands to Myself," Selena Gomez. What did you all
I
think
like
about
the, I
this
like the
lip
nod
sync?
to the song.
What did you all think about the performance?
It was a mess. It was a sloppy mess. A sloppy mess. And, you know, I was upset being that one is from New York and the other one is like New York adjacent and from New Jersey. Like, so it's by default New York. I was like, and they friends too, so I get that probably played a factor in why they weren't like lip syncing at their best because they're going against like their sister. But still, that was sloppy.
I'm gonna inject and just say I think that was the best that Lana could do. It's all recorded. It is all recorded. We've seen her perform in the bottom. This was our first time seeing Crystal. We've seen Crystal perform in some of the challenges. And if you'll remember the talent show, this was the best that she could do.
I'm still stuck. I'm stuck. I'm sorry,
I,
Lana.
I mean, I agree with them. I think, well, one, this lip sync was a mess. I think it should have been just a double elimination.
Send
That
these
part.
hoes home.
That part. I'm
I've
just
been saying it for
gagged.
3 weeks straight. I'm so tired.
I'm just gagged at the fact that Lana gave a mediocre meh performance and lost her wig, and she was the one that they kept. That's what gagged me.
But that's what I'm telling you, because Crystal ain't giving nothing. They know Crystal ain't winning nothing, so they said get rid of her. At least Lana giving us a little something. She giving us the body out each week. Okay, we got her maybe another week or two. We're getting rid of Acacia. We're getting rid of Lana. Then, okay, Corey, sorry, you're giving us good TV, but Ho, you about to go too.
Yeah. I mean, we do
I
need a lip
honestly
sync assassin
feel-
of the season, so that's probably why.
She's the next Silky Nutmeg.
Very much that, yes.
Don't do that
And
to
then
Silky.
Crystal,
Put
you
some
gotta
respect
think
on
of it
Silky
like
Nutmeg's
this.
name, please.
now. I hate you right now.
You said it.
Put respect on Silky.
I'm just putting the words to that. I'm just filling in the blanks. I wasn't the
It's
one that
true.
presented the case.
It's true. And then with Crystal, right, you have Crystal and you have Sam Starr. They both fit the same, like, niche when it comes to drag,
Stereotype, yeah.
right? Like, they are both pageant queens. And so they've invested a whole bunch of, like, I guess, time and energy in Sam with her drag family, right? And then you have Crystal Envy on the other side. Yes, she has a drag sister, but her drag sister isn't at like, the level, right, as Sam's drag mom. So it's kind of like they had to weigh their pros and cons with that.
I also feel like, and I may be wrong on this, but I also feel that this was definitely like a production choice versus the actual performance. Because if you look at the reaction of the girls behind who were watching the performance, they were shocked. They were shocked.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was more a production saying, "Oh, we're 7 episodes in. We need to have more gags in this. We need people talking about something, and let's get rid of one of the." Not the person who's going to win, but get rid of somebody who is a professional who's going to go very far. Let's get rid of them early, and then get the dolls talking about this a little bit more.
Especially when a wig comes off. Any other season, if a wig came off, it's almost automatic. You out.
And the nipples
so
is
I
out.
was gagged for that piece alone.
Yeah, I feel like earlier seasons, shoes came off, weight came off, you're going home. These last couple
Yeah.
seasons, it keeps happening. Sometimes several times or several things, and Ru just doesn't care anymore. Or production, I guess. Just
Ruth
doesn't
said,
care.
I'm getting old, baby. I'm getting old.
And honestly, if that's the case, just stop the damn tape. Stop the tape. Let them put their wig back on. We don't have to see that. Like, it's an affront to us as viewers to see somebody's wig come off and them not go home. I'm just going to say that. So if they're not going to go home because their wig comes off accidentally, I'm cool with that. But then you don't need to show that production. That's my point. We don't even need to see it. Just stop the tape. Let them put that shit back on. Let them finish this out, and then send whoever home you want to send home, and then let us go on our merry way. Otherwise, your wig comes off, your shoes come off, your dress comes off, or whatever. You going home. You need to be a professional.
Yeah.
Speaking of going home, we about to go home right now. So next week we get a preview that we're going to preview that. We're getting our first musical, and it is The Wicked Wiz of Oz. So all of the Wicked fans will hopefully get their life in this next episode. I want to say thank you to our amazing guests, Johnny and Will, for coming in and sharing
Thank you
some
for
tea with
having
us.
us.
Hopefully we didn't scare you off, or I didn't scare you off with my strong opinions about these queens, so that when you have us on, or that you will have us on, and we can do the same on your podcast. But we so appreciate you, Boos. And for the people listening, for the people in the back, for the people in the front, and the people that don't know who you are, tell them who you are and where they can find you, please.
And for those that lose their wigs.
Yes. So if you love the laughs, if you love the shade, and we're probably going to have you saying no ma'am all the time, you can follow us on Instagram at no ma'am the podcast. We are available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also on YouTube at no ma'am the podcast.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Right. No ma'am. Right. No ma'am. There was a lot of no ma'ams.
It's yes, ma'am, because we want you to follow us. So yes, ma'am. Come over here. So,
And community, again, please follow them. Please show them some love, and you'll see us soon, hopefully on one of their episodes as well. But until then, be sure to wash your hands, your legs, and your ass, and we will see you for episode 8. Send some of these hoes home. Bye.
Bye.